So welcoming you this morning to our Soul Flow Yoga session. And I'm going to invite you just to come into a position, whatever that might look like, of receiving. I'm just going to talk a little bit to get us started. All of you will hopefully have your playlist ready to go. So you might be lying on your back with the soles of the feet together, with the knees in a diamond shape. Maybe there's cushions underneath the knees to support them. Perhaps you're in Shavasana. Or maybe if you're, well, especially if you're relieving your lower back, you might have the soles of the feet mat distance apart and the knees resting against each other. And let's just begin with 5 breaths to arrive this really beautifully simple tool which can just send those signals of arriving, of safety, of gentleness into our system. 5 deep breaths. At the end of the 5th breath, just to check in. We can come into yoga session, especially when we've just awoken for the day, with this kind of expectation of I'm going to go and practice yoga, but perhaps without really acknowledging, noticing what physical body you're bringing to the practice in this moment, what emotional body, what the quality of your mind might be today. Because with the familiarity of the practice, is the beauty that every time we come to it, we bring an utterly unique experience of what is here now in this moment. So a scan through the physicality of this body of being, noticing any aches, any sense of restriction, any desires towards or away from movement, noticing the mind, the quality of the mind today, the emotions, just naming what is here. There's no need for narratives, there's no need to stories, descriptions, explanations, just a simple observing and naming. And once we've just let our body, in the broadest sense, by that I mean our body and all that it holds within it, the somatic experience of presence that begins from the leg to the skin, through the organs, down into the cells, down into the soul of our being. Just letting all of these layers of you-ness understand that you're listening and that this practice is a practice of attunement, of listening. And with that, perhaps the possibility of letting go of expectation and opening the heart, the mind, the body, the cells of our very being towards curiosity. What is here now, again and again and again, and how may I move towards it? And I'd like us to talk a little bit about our practice for today. As always, I spend time reflecting on the energy, the intention, what it is I feel called to share in our sessions. And the essence that kind of arrived with me last night was this sense of shifting, this need for a kind of shifting, this word of play, of flow. I mean, flow is always in there. That flow, that yielding, that freedom. But it was something about so much has happened. this year. And, you know, I'm only talking about for you, for us, what we've shared collectively in terms of what's happened. You know, a global situation with health, a global situation, a call to action for change on a societal level. And that's not even taking into account what each of us have also been going through personally in our lives. And I just had this sense of like, oh, so much. And this feeling of almost just surrendering to that. Just an acknowledging, a surrendering, and also a sense of just shifting all that energy that might have fallen into patterns of restriction, of tension in our being. A kind of, I don't want to say press reset, because I don't want to assume that this will just override everything that's happened, but almost a possibility for our body to just process a bit, to get things moving, to come out of whatever's become stuck through this experience, globally down to personally, that we have encountered in these last months. And so I came back to a teaching which has been with me for almost as long as I've been teaching, which is a mantra that I think all of you might be familiar with, because we practice it in a Bithroom retreat. And that is the mantra Swaha. Okay, Swaha, which is a Hindu sacrificial mantra. And in festivals, there's this energy of throwing onto the fire, and as we do, or as they do in the festivals, shouting this mantra, Swaha. And the meaning of it, so be it. So be it. Just a sense of surrender, and so be it. And acknowledging, so not a turning away, but a surrendering, a letting it be seen, a letting it be known, almost a bowing down to like, wow, this has happened. For now, so be it. And so this is the energy, the quality of the practice that I bring today. A practice of surrender, of trust, of movement, of flow, of play. A practice where we explore, so be it, as we let go and surrender. So gently starting to bring knees into the body, whatever that looks like for you, from whichever position you find yourself in. And take whatever actions to enliven the body, to begin moving and finding your way towards a standing position. As you know, in my apartment, it's not always, this is kind of as much of me as you can get in. So finding your way to standing. And where do you feel drawn to bring your hands? For me, I feel drawn into this space, a hand on the heart, hand on the solar plexus. And as I listen in, that might shift down towards Svadhisthana, towards my sacral chakra. And the eyes may close if that feels supportive for you, or finding a softening, something that supports a sense of settling. And just reflecting on whatever your journey, your experience, your story has held in these last, perhaps, months, maybe in these last weeks, each of us in our unique journeys. And just feel or see if you can sense into how these experiences may have become held in our body, where the stories may be found in the cells of our being. Seeing if there can be an attunement to that. And then opening up to the possibility of this practice, which is an invitation to allow these patterns in the body to have the possibility to move, to find a bit of space. Perhaps you can imagine, as I often do when I practice, this interstitial fluid, the fluid that runs through a whole being, holding each of the trillions of cells, the cells moving in that fluid. And perhaps some of them become constricted, and we want to offer the possibility of those cells holding the stories, the possibility to begin to move. And just a whispering of a mantra deep into those patterns, stories, experiences held within. Inhale swa, exhale ha. Inhale swa, exhale ha. Just taking a few more rounds. As if caressing those cells, those experiences in the body. I see you. I see you. So be it. Surrender. Letting go of resistance. And from here, the eyes gently open for the practical purpose that I can't control the music. So if making your way, if we all make our way towards the music, I'd love for us to try and press play as much as possible at the same time. We're going to come into a dynamic meditation. I felt really called to do this today, and I hope it works on Zoom. There you go, that's my transparency. And we're going to start with a meditation to get these cells moving, to get the energy shaking and shifting. Okay, so this might feel unusual, slightly different. I think most of you have practiced this with me before. You can always turn away from your camera for privacy if that feels helpful for you. Otherwise, we're going to start the playlist. Let's do it on the count of one. When I say 3, 2, and 1, pressing play. Coming to stand. The feet slightly apart. And we're going to begin just by shaking. So this is a Kundalini meditation of shaking. So you might just begin, let's just begin by just taking any shaking, any ha, and you might make sound, ha. You can hear that sense of svaha coming into the body. And then it's just this surrendering, this movement, this fluidity, and I can already feel this sense of like goosebumps running through my body. That's my experience. That doesn't need to be your experience. The only shared experience that we bring is perhaps curiosity. Curiosity and exploring surrender. And then once you've found that pattern of shaking, just beginning a process of as if the earth is rebounding into you, creating this vibration, shaking through the legs, the hands, the head, the whole body. There's no right or wrong here. But as you remember everything that's been. And we can be talking in our near future, or rather our near past, or we can be talking in our past. Whatever has become historic, which is 1 second ago, and from the moment you took your first breath, is being given the possibility here to shift, to move, to find a new way of being in the body. We're going to be here for around another 5 minutes. Eyes closed. shaking, allowing movement. Allowing movement. Allowing release. And all of us here are familiar with the chakras. So you might imagine each of those chakras releasing, bringing awareness to the root, to the solar plexus, to the sacral, these three foundational chakras, root, pelvic, solar plexus, then up to the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown, this line of energy connecting us to earth and to the skies. Keep shaking. What has become stuck needs to move. Make the music loud, so that vibrational quality can be felt through the body, supporting this sense of swaha, so be it. And when we release resistance to stories, to experience, perhaps we might also release resistance in our body, resistance in ourselves. Keep shaking. Keep letting it move. Letting it be, releasing strong emotions that have been held. Perhaps the fear of these last months for some of us. I know for me. Where is that in the body? Because these things require a level of processing, be it conscious or unconscious, to find freedom, to flow. Uncertainty, the unknown. What is it that you are giving the space to move and flow? Keep shaking. And now as you just start to slow down from shaking, and as you do, notice the sensation in your body, curiosity, this releasing, this movement. And then from here, the energy that has been enlivened, you can simply begin to move any way you desire. However I'm moving isn't how you need to move. How do you feel drawn to let this energy flow into movement? So this is completely free. And you might not even stay on your mat. You might not stay in front of the screen. You can hear me, you can hear the music. We have about 6 minutes of just dancing, of moving any way that feels true for you. The eyes might be closed. You might find yourself in low to the earth, high to the sky. This isn't a dancing we do for others. This is a movement from the inside out. Those cells, if they could express, how would they move? What does freedom feel like in the body? There's no right or wrong. Let this be your story, your expression. If you were to tell the story of within, how would that look in your body? What would Svaha look like in your body? You can become really conscious of the earth as it supports you, the skin as it glides through the space that holds you. This play of our bodies in space, in energy, completely connected. In this soma, the body, where we hold all our wisdom. May we bring this quality of somanout, the astronaut, the journeyer through our body and our experience. Just for this moment, the svaha of so be it. What does that look like in our bodies, in our experience of being? Allow yourself the freedom to move. There's no right or wrong. There's no expectations. There's just your curiosity, your play, your dance in your body. And now, as you find that dance, gathering all the experiences in your life from the past, from the present, that you wish to bring this intention of svaha, so be it. And finding yourself in a wide-legged position. Bring hands onto the body, listening. And now as you inhale, hands rise up above the head. We're going to come into cleansing kriya, shouting up to the sky, swa, and then ha. Inhaling up, swa, ha. Let's do 3 more. Swa, ha. 2 more. Swa, ha. Final one. Swa, ha. Gently, slowly rise. Hands come to rest on the body. Listen. Listen within. What do you notice? What is here now? Bringing this quality of curiosity as the eyes open or walking towards the front of your mat. Finding deep connection down into the earth through feet. Knees soft, head rises to the sky, shoulder blades together down the back. As you inhale, the arms can float wide up above the head. Exhale, swan dive. Keep this quality of dancing. Swan dive forwards, hands to the earth, bend knees if necessary. Inhale, gaze to horizon. Exhale, step yourself back into plank. Pause there for an inhale. And now exhale, knees, chest, chin, perhaps down to the earth, maybe lowering the whole body. Inhale, gentle cobra, gentle lifting. Exhale, downward dog. First downward dog, so we might walk the dog, left heel to the earth, right knee bends. Side to side. Now with the eyes perhaps closed, just listen and notice what movements does your body desire. Finding the same dance through the invitation of the shape of downward dog. Fluidity, releasing resistance. And then make your way to downward dog as we know it. Then the elbows to the side, wrap them in towards each other, and then straighten the arms, feeling the extension, the stretch, accessing the strength of the back muscles. Bend the knees a little, and then you can walk or step to the front of your mat. And on the glide of an inhale, rise. Exhale with a sigh, ha, forward. Inhale, power through the earth to elevate the arms. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart. The eyes can remain closed, and the invitation is to take 2 rounds now of sun salutation A, just as we did, with your eyes closed and finding this quality of fluidity, of dancing, of curiosity. What would Swaha look like through Surya Namaskar A? So 2 rounds begin now. The arms can inhale to rise. And now from here, trust yourself. Trust yourself as I remove the words. Listen, I know all of you in your practice, and this is within those bodies of yours. Notice if there's a rushing, and see if there's a possibility to maybe slow down just 5%, and maybe instead of slow down, we can call it savoring. Savoring 5% more of each movement, of each expression through our body. The second round. Each pause, a checking in, a curiosity. How is it now? What am I feeling? What is here? What do I need? What can I do? Move in a way that encourages our flow, that encourages play, that allows our spirit to shine through, as if breaking through the barrier of our skin and showing the essence of our inside outside. Meeting whenever we find ourselves there in mountain pose, where the knees can bend to allow the fingers to gently find their way from the floor to extend before chair pose. You might just take a moment to settle here, be aware of the sitting bones going back and then parting, creating space, and then into that, draw the lower floating ribs back towards the spine. Notice how that naturally engages towards the core and drops the tailbone. And then the arms, draw them back in to their shoulders and feel the heart stretching, edging, reaching forwards. For 2, can we sink a little deeper, maybe even just with presence? And for 1, exhale, fold, hands to the earth. Inhale, gaze to horizon. Exhale, step back into plank. Low down to the earth through your choice of vinyasa. Lift through cobra or up dog. If in up dog, the legs very active off the earth. Downward dog. Inhale, right foot rises. Step that right foot all the way through. You can help if necessary. The left knee remains lifted. Hands perhaps come by the thigh if we're keeping knees particularly safe, if we want to find integrity in the structure. And then from here, hands rise to the sky. The same action. Can the sitting bones part slightly? Can we draw the ribs back into the space towards the spine? The arms up towards the sky. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Bring hands behind the back. Interlink fingers, lift up through the heart to feel the shoulder blades coming together and extending the heart forward. Keep the feet pressing down into the earth and hugging in towards each other. Active, active. And release. Hands to the earth, straight to downward dog, or optional vinyasa. You choose, yogi's choice. What does this body of yours need right now? Inhale, left foot extends back. Step it all the way through. Set yourself up. You'll have this deep extension into the right hip flexor, bringing hands up, and then find your way towards the pose. Same action of feeling the sitting bones extending down to the earth and parting, ribs back towards the spine. You have to be aware of the kidney space at the lower back, and it's as if you're puffing the ribs towards the kidneys, or as if there's a blooming into this space. Arms away, or the shoulders away from ears. Interlink fingers behind the back. Lift up through the heart as the shoulder blades come together, elevating the space through the heart. And the breath of this music might become the release of your body, hands to the sky. Inhale, bring them to the earth, step back into plank, yogi's choice, vinyasa, or straight to downward dog. One is not better than the other. The attunement of listening to ourselves is the space for exploration. Gentle bend of the knees whenever you find yourself next in downward dog. A jump step brings you to the front of your mat, gaze to horizon. Exhale, fold. Inhale, fingers to the earth. Find our way towards chair pose. Rise up, then bounce and sink down into it. Arms hugging back in, shoulder blades together, ribs towards spine. Sink down into the earth, rise through the height, the heart gazing to the space between the fingers. For 2. And for 1, press down through the earth, rise. Rise through fingertips, inhale, exhale, hands to prayer at the heart. Hands come upon the hips, right foot supports, left knee lifts. Left foot's either on the inside of the ankle, inside calf, otherwise drawing to the inside of the thigh, finding tree pose. Okay, so taking care with knees if needed. And on the bent foot, making sure the foot is above or below the knee. And from here, hands come to prayer at the heart. And as you inhale, arms rise up to the sky. As you exhale, open to the side. Inhale, rise. Come to center, release that foot. And now slowly as you can, step that foot back and find a high lunge. Take your time, arrive at the earth, and then sink. Hands come to the prayer at the heart. And from here, take your time to adjust your feet and find warrior 2. So the adjustment will involve bringing the front foot in alignment to the back arch as the back toes turn forwards. And then from here, extending out. Checking the position of that knee, make sure it's not rolling in, holding it to the space, in direct alignment with the ankle. Gently straightening that knee. Bring the left hand onto the left hip, rotate hips and extend forward, forwards. Hands come to the earth. Triangle pose. Might be your hands on a brick here. Now extend the arm up and over. Uttita Trikonasana. Left hand comes back onto the hip. Bend that right knee, shimmy forward. Hand comes to the earth, maybe onto a brick. Ardha Chandrasana. Notice how my back raised foot is super active, the toes active as if pressing into a wall. And then I can gently ease my heart to open towards the full pose. You can take the bind if that's in your practice, you're most welcome. Shavasana, Ardha Chandrasana. Again, with the same ease that we entered the high lunge, slowly finding our way to warrior 2. Left hand comes down to the earth, shimmy to the outside of the left foot. Finding a side plank. Know that you can also support right foot to the earth. Know that if you're taking care with the shoulders, you might come onto the forearm, or you might simply come to downward dog. Hand comes to the earth, downward dog. All meeting in downward dog. Exhale, bend the knees a little. Inhale, jump step to the front of your mat, gaze to horizon. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise to the sky. And hands come to prayer at the heart. Other side, left foot supports, right foot lifts. Choose your tree pose, either on the earth, the calf, otherwise bringing all the way above the knee. Find security, steadiness, the arms rise to the sky. Dance to the twist, gazing towards the bent knee. Inhale, rise, knee releases, and step it all the way back. Slow it right down as if swimming through water. Hands to the sky. Find the dance, warrior two. Long, powerful stance. Beautiful. Straighten that front leg, right hand onto the back hip to rotate it forwards. This is just how I find more space coming to Trikonasana, as was taught to me. I used to loathe Trikonasana, and now it's become like my favorite pose. There was so much restriction in my body. Reach up and over. Uttita Trikonasana. Back hand comes onto back hip. Shimmy the weight forward, forward, forward. Hand to the earth and rise. Ardha Chandrasana. Activate through that back leg, rotating the hips. Remember, props are your friends. Little bricks of hope, squares of rectangles of hope. That's what my teacher calls them. Sink it back, slow, slow. Warrior two. Hand to the earth, right hand this time. Come onto the outside edge of the right foot. Woo. Fall over, perhaps. Otherwise, side plank. Press down through the hand, lift through the fingers. Squeeze the thighs, activate the toes, so that you can also be on a forearm if you're keeping this safer in your body. Hand comes to the earth and find downward dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And again. One last time. Gently bend the knees a little. A jump step takes you to the front of your mat, gaze to horizon. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll, ragdoll to stand, and let's now just find the curves through our spine, exaggerating them, releasing them perhaps from the hours seated, if that's true of our lives. Especially some of us who are seated at home and don't have the kind of setups that perhaps support our bodies for the work that is required of us. Shaking, and then finding your way again to standing, hands on hips. Once again, the right foot supports us as the left foot lifts. Remember Dristi. So Dristi is the focus point, which will help with the balance. Bringing this left foot to wrap around. It might just come to the earth from the outside of the ankle. It might wrap all the way around to link to the outside of the calf. And then from here, bring your hips to face forward. Right thumb to third eye, left arm wraps around underneath. Garudasana. Bring the shoulder blades together and down the spine and begin to sink. Keep the belly tucking in back towards the spine. Folding in. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Gently rise. Keep the left foot lifted. Keep the right knee bent. And start to extend forwards into warrior 3. Arms might track back. They might reach forwards. Keep that left hip dropped so it's nicely in alignment with the right. For 2. And for 1. Sink that left foot back to the earth. Find the high lunge. And then find the hands come to the earth. It might be that you take some bricks here as you begin to straighten. So you want to have the feet hip distance apart, and you want to have the back toes facing forwards about 45 degrees. Hands might be on bricks here. Now get really curious about your hips, drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward, so sacrum stays beautifully even. And from here, everyone inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, fold. Pyramid. Prasarasana. Remembering the swaha, the so be it, and the quality of fluidity, of movement, of unsticking. And seeing if we can bring that same presence to this pose, this practice in this moment. Instead of getting the head to the shin, think about reaching the chest, the heart, beyond the toes. Inhale, gently gaze to the horizon, bend that right knee and step to the front of your mat. Bend the knees deeply, belly can come onto thighs, arms can wrap around behind the thighs. Release and ragdoll, the same quality of spinal fluidity. And then we're going to, in our own times, take it to the side so you know where we're going and you can slow it down to your own rhythm now. As the left foot supports the right knee lifts, find your drishti. Garudasana, eagle pose, either just resting the toes to the outside of ankle, seeing if they twist all the way around. Left thumb to third eye, right arm wraps underneath. You can release the thumb from the third eye, that's just a guide to get there. See if you can make sure the hips face forward and now curl into the energy of yourself. Belly hugging back towards spine. Heart reaching forwards. And 2 more breaths. And on the next breath, as it finds its end, see if you can transition your way towards a warrior 3, extending that leg back behind you, supporting through the standing leg. You might keep the knee a little bit bent to activate the quads. That can support us in warrior 3. And the arms might reach back, they might be on the hips. Just checking your hips. Often in this pose, the leg behind us, the hip can lift. We want both hip points to be level to the earth. And now find your way. I just did a Soulla there. I talked to you for ages when you were balancing, didn't I? Find your way to high lunge. And then use that as the transition towards pyramid pose. Set yourself up. Take the bricks, the props as necessary. Left hip draws back, right forward. Gaze as if there's a thread drawing through the crown, drawing the heart forwards. Find that space, keep exploring it as you sink down to the earth. Where is the resistance? Can you bring awareness? And then from here, walk hands forward, feet to the earth, while the feet come together. Inhale, gaze to horizon. And exhale, step yourself back into downward dog. Knees come to the earth, child's pose. In child's pose, Come onto the fingertips and walk the hands over to the right side. Keep deeply sinking down through the left hip, sinking the heart down to the earth. To the center and to the opposite side. Sink that right hip back down to the earth. To the center. And keep up on fingertips as the heart extends down. Now walk the hands forward and the knees together. Hips over the knees. As the heart melts towards the earth. Puppy pose. Keep the ribs gently drawing up to the spine to keep the length through the front body, through the back body. Come and lie down upon your belly. Takes arms out either side of the body, chin to the earth, and now begin to lift and down 5 times, lifting, activating the space between the scapula, which can become very weakened by computers, by chairs. And when you get to the 5th round, keep the arms, see if you can elevate them. Feel that activation between the shoulder blades for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Hands come to the earth. Create a little cushion for your chin. Now extend back, lifting the right leg, don't bend it. Keep the hip point to the earth. Extending, lifting, reaching back. Can you grow a few millimeters longer through your legs? Down to the earth, shifting to the opposite side. Left leg extends. Reaching, keep the left hip flexor to the earth. Reach out through that leg. Foot to the earth. Hands come down either side of the body. Chin into the chest. Shoulders gently lift, and as you inhale, extend to rise the whole body. Lengthening. Can the heart extend forwards? Can the toes reach back? For 3. For 2. And for 1. Come to the earth. Create that cushion, forehead to the cushion. Hips move side to side. Hands come either side of the body. Gently inhale, cobra. Perhaps pushing all the way up to up dog. And then tuck the toes, lift from the glutes. Back and up to downward dog. Inhale, the right leg extends back, lifting. As you exhale, bring it through so you come towards pigeon. Right knee is coming towards the right wrist, right ankle towards the left. Set yourself up. If there's any knee issues, avoiding this pose, you might want to support underneath the right glute here. And then take a moment, lift up through fingertips, find space through the heart, keep that, and then start walking forwards, and you might come to rest upon the pillow of the arms. If you're supporting knees, coming to lie on your back, right ankle crosses the left thigh. So thread the needle, which is like a reclined pigeon, much safer on the knees, but gives that same opening into the hips and the glutes. And here, noticing the count of your inhale, counting an inhale for 3, and letting the exhale be for up to 6. Inhale 3, exhale for 6. And with every extended exhalation, see if there's 5% more release available into the support of the earth, into the presence in the body. Settling all of those trillions of cells that began the dance, settling. Ever so gently begin to rise, slowly, slowly. Find your way to downward dog. Just lifting, no complexity, just a rising downward dog. It might be the right leg extends back behind you, just stretching, reaching out. Beautiful. And now to the opposite side. The left leg rises. Reach it through. Pigeon pose. Settle in. Attend to your body. Make it safe. Make it kind. Make it a caress. And once you've found that tenderness, sink into the embrace. Lower into the pose. Some pulsations as you lower, like ripples of water running through the spine. Perhaps there's an inhale and reaching of the heart, and then a settling. Ripples until the water steadies to stillness. Return to the extended exhalation, a practice we can bring into any moment as a means of supporting our nervous system, safety, support. Gently rise, rise. Slowly configure your body into the shape of downward dog. Whatever actions you feel drawn to take in downward dog to release in this exploration of pigeon. And then a gentle bend of the knees so that you might jump or step to sit upon your mat. And from seated, lowering down upon your mat, knees into the body. A happy baby. With happy baby, once you find the option for you, extend the sitting bone, lengthening long. See if you can allow the shoulders to drape more deeply towards the earth. And so as the knees widen each side of the body, there's this action of lengthening through the back body and compressing, connecting the back body down into the earth. Knees come hugging into the body. Arms come out at 90 degrees. Let those knees gently roll to the right side. Gaze to the left. You might find your way towards that extended exhalation. And you might also bring in this mantra, swa, ha, internally, silently vibrating into the heart space. And inhale, swa. An extended exhale, ha. If you can make the sound out loud, then I invite you to. This can also calm the nervous system, this ha. And so slowly come to the back and shift it the opposite way, settling. And find your way home to the mantra, Swaha. Into the back. Allow for final gestures, final movements before extending yourself to Shavasana. Coming to rest in Shavasana. Take your time. Allow for ease, for comfort. Attend to yourself in this pose. And then settle in. Gently come back to the breath, back to the body. With fingers and toes stretch long, long on your breath. In your own time, rolling to your right side. And slowly finding your way to rise. To sit where the hands can come to rest upon the body. Listening in, checking in. How is it now? What is the quality of being? Those layers of self. What arises when even for a moment we explore the possibility of releasing resistance and surrendering to that which is. Swaha, so be it. Hands come to prayer at the heart. A final short poem from the Sufi Hafiz. What is this precious love and laughter budding in our hearts? It is the glorious sound of a soul waking up. May we keep returning again and again into the truth of presence. May we keep allowing ourselves the space, the possibility of awakening the soul. And living from our heart. Join me for the closing sound of Om to seal our practice. Inhale. Three Shantis. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace to all beings. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our actions contribute to the freedom and happiness of all. Namaste.